Hey guys, hello and welcome back to the series Understanding Angular Basics. Today's topic is Angular components. Angular components are responsible for rendering and controlling the view which is part of the entire screen. An Angular application can have any number of components. As illustrated in this example, an application can have header component, a central component and a footer component. Classes which are annotated with @component annotation are considered as the components. These components are consist of three parts. A class which contains your business logic to control the view that is rendered by this component. View which is the template rendered by this component. And the styles which is used by the view which is rendered by this component. Generally, components are grouped together in a module. For example, your application can have a root module which will contain header component, body component and a footer component. And it might contain another module which is authentication module which will have login and registration components. Every component has metadata associated with it. And metadata contains selector, template URL and providers. So selector is nothing but the HTML tag which will be used by the view to denote that this component should be included where the tag is used. Template URL is the relative path of the HTML file which is the view of this component. You can have template instead of template URL which will contain the HTML code for this component. And the third is providers. Providers is an array of providers for the services that are required for this component. So let's see an example. Here, as you can see, the class app component is annotated with @component annotation, and it has metadata, selector, template URL and style URLs associated with it. Selector specifies the tag which will be used by the view to denote that this component should be included here. The second property is template URL which contains the view, the HTML code which will be used by this component to render the view. So as here we can see, this is the HTML component generated by the ng CLI which contains a default code. We'll get in detail about the tags which are used here in the later tutorials, but for now let's understand what component is. The third property is style URLs, which is nothing but a style sheet. There is no styles defined for this component as of now, but this file will contain the classes used by the component. So that's it. That is the Angular component. Thank you for watching.